All right, guys, so in this edition of Solar Panel Re-Roofs, we are going to look at putting a Solar Edge system back on. This is Solar Edge optimizers and 72 cell modules on a roof mount system where a tree fell on it, obviously, and we had to put the panels back on. These jobs, I'm getting to the point where I can just about give a roofer pricing if he just calls me up and sends me some pictures of what he's got. If I have pictures of the underneath of the solar array and, you know, the damage and the scope of work. But if a tree falls on your panels, they're definitely going to have to be replaced. So this was an Iron Ridge job with Solar Edge. What's up, guys? It's Johnny Valentine with Gain Solar, and it's new hat alert here. Got me a new desert style hat. Not sure how I feel about it yet. And we are putting in quick bolts. So we're doing a little replacement here, re-roof and replacement job. Antonio's putting the sealant on the quick bolt. We switched over to these years ago, and I'm a big fan. So he's show him how it is. How he put a little sealant on the roof, and then the quick bolt just runs right in. See that, but so once the quick bolt indents into the roof with the little nub right there, the seal is made. And these are some of the easiest flashings. I think they're the easiest ones to install, and I think they're the least invasive. I don't like popping shingles and sliding flashings in, so we're going to be putting 10 panels on this side and 10 panels on this side. This house, I did not design the system, but there's a bunch of trees close by, and a tree actually fell and broke some of these panels. I'll show you the picture. So we're gonna be putting panels back up. So now I'm on the quick bolt spec sheet, and you see you've got the giant stainless steel black EPDM backed washer, which is the flashing, the 5/16-18 serrated flange nut, and the actual quick bolt screw hanger bolt, and then there's that 6mm top with the 5/16-18 threads that takes a nut that would fit a 1/2-inch socket. Sometimes I get the L feet, but a lot of times I'll just use my own L feet. And so it's a great flashing. It saves time, and I don't feel like I'm having to tear up the roof near as much installing a traditional flashing. So once we started using these, we have not gone back to the old school flashings where you have to pop a shingle. And then there's the installation instructions. So if you have any questions, go ahead and download it and look at this thing. It's worth looking at, especially if you're going to be installing them. That's the name of the document right there. So here's the guy's roof penetration. Solar deck. Looks pretty good. Roofers just re-roofed right around it. And just some ER6 terminal blocks. These are, you can order these when you order a solar deck. But they're made by my favorite company, IMO. I just got the positive and the negative, 2 strings. Let me see if I can find a. It's the IMO. This is an ER10 actually. These are rated for, I think they're rated for 45 amps. But just doing a little pass through transition here. Boom. We'll just leave that. We'll leave all the wiring the way it is. Tomorrow I'll bring a little piece of unistrut and bridge these 2 pieces of rack from here to there, and that'll make it just support the wire. I just strictly doing it to support the wire. And we got all the optimizers up, and we're about to get out of here. All right, guys, so here's how I fixed this Solar Deck combiner box. Wasn't a huge problem, but they had number 10 going in between the between this array and that other array, and you want to use a number 6 bare copper when you're running. I would still consider this exposed. This is but even though it's in a piece of Liquidite like they had it, now we've got a pretty strong piece of wire, and they don't want you to run small gauge 10, but they don't want you to run THHN up on the roof. They want you to use something that's rated. So did that. Also installed a piece of snapping rack, and I'm just using it because it's a good channel. I've used Unistrut here before, but that just keeps all the wires from just laying on the roof when they sweep up into that Solodeck. I just used 2 L feet to do it. So we're ready to mount panels, and they had them all upside down like this. So I'm not used to doing that, but I could see how it would be easier to get to them if you needed to change them out. We're gonna go ahead and hang panels because it's getting warm out here. All right, so we're wrapping up this Solar Edge re-roof project. I'm updating the inverter right now, which is a very fun process. I always like to check DC voltage on each string. With Solar Edge, you get 1 volt per optimizer. So I should have 10 volts on that string. See if I can show you how I'm doing it. 10 volts on that string, and then shove these in here. Should have 10 volts there. And what that tells me is that both strings, because they're equal lengths, you know, one string could be showing 10 volts and the other one could be not reading 10 volts, and I would never know it. But because they get paralleled inside of this set of terminals. So anyway, now I'm putting them back in. So here's that first array, guys. This is kind of an east-west array. I use 72 cell modules. I have no idea what company did this, but we just put these panels back up. You can see we're passing the no dangle test. Can't really tell, but there's no cables dangling. What was interesting is that the roofers left they took the panels all off. Then they took look at that, there's already a piece of tree on there. So the roofers took all the panels off, and they left all the micro inverters, or the power optimizers, and all the cabling and everything. They were able to leave everything in place on the rail. So we just got up there with a 33-foot piece of rail, and gently and we just put it back the way it was, and all the wiring was decent. You know, on these re-roof jobs, they don't want to pay for anything extra most of the time. They want to put it back exactly the way it was. A tree actually fell on these panels right here, but they want them back exactly like they were, and they don't want to pay for anything extra. Now, if the system's not safe, like if it's just not safe to put back the way it is, then I have talked them into, or told them I'm not putting it back like that. And then they did do an upgrade on that one. There's the broken panels. Sometimes I try to give broken panels to people that just want one to play with, but I don't even know if these ones would work. They've got pretty serious bustification down there. And then this one's really bad. So, you know, if the system's got optimizers, Solar Edge optimizers under it, or it's got Enphase under it, and the Enphase isn't too old or too chewed up, and there's not any real damage to the wiring, you can usually just put it back up like it was. Ooh, I just fell off that cliff. That felt real good.